This year, a total of 28 foreign and local wine and spirits experts, representing 20 different countries, gathered in Somerset West to judge the 1,829 entries over a period of 6 days. Panels of 5 judges are chaired by a president, and all wines are judged blind in their specific classes, using the international 100-point judging system. Judges know only the class of wine, the varietal and vintage. If necessary, wines are discussed or put forward for a second opinion by another panel. The temperature of the wine is carefully monitored before leaving the waiting area, to ensure that the wines are being judged at the optimum temperature. Since 2014, the Michelangelo has accepted liqueur entries. And this year, for the first time, spirits such as rum, vodka and gin were added. For the tasting of these products, South African judges Dr. Winifred Bowman and Dr. Andy Rudiger joined German spirits professional Christina Wolf and brandy judge Chris Alblas from the Netherlands. The Brandy and Spirits panel was again chaired by highly respected and internationally acknowledged honorary Cape Wine Master Dave Hughes. 51 spirits entries were received, out of which South African brandy was very highly rated and well awarded.
There's absolutely no doubt about the standard. That is very high. And that is high because of the kind of judges that you've got. You've got judges of international experience and guys and girls who not only have the experience but are good at what they do. There are lots of people who have the experience but aren't necessarily very good. But you've managed to sort out a bunch of folk that do a very good job, and you can see that by the way your entries are going, that it is the competition to get involved with. And certainly in the international scene, it gets mentioned. In international competition, no matter where it's held, South African brandy is rule the roost. And even cognac that's owned by South African companies is taking kudos around the world. But our own brandies, in the last 10 to 12 years, have moved into a slot that nobody is able to budge us. And we're up against Portugal, Spain, Italy, California, and France, other than cognac. And we really do make super brandy, but we've been doing it for a long time.
The main strength of Michelangelo has always been the quality of its judges. We select and invite top wine experts from around the world based on their expertise, status and experience in international wine and spirits judging. A regular judge on the Michelangelo panel, Chris Alblas, has been a jury president at the Concours Mondial du Brésil since 2008 and has this to say.
For me, first of all, when we speak about judging, it's very important that you have people who have judged before, or they have a lot of knowledge about wine. And I think that's very important in this competition, that you see the selection of judges as a high standard. And what you see in this competition is that it's international. And in every panel you have also one local. And I think that's very important to have a good balance. And what I found is also that there's a good age of the different judges. Not too young, not too old, but a good average. I think that's also very important for the quality of the competition. To be honest, I think we are very close because all over the world we have the knowledge and we have the taste, and the best wines, they score high. Sure. Sometimes there can be a discussion because of personal preference, but overall, if you have a good wine, all of us scored high.
And now, let's take a look at the judging panel, who awarded this year's medals and trophies. Sergio was a judge on the inaugural Michelangelo panel in 1997. With a lifetime of experience in the many facets of enology, Sergio has been awarded many times. Among them, the Knight's Cross of Merit, awarded by the French government, and the Viticultural Merit Award for the best Chilean winemaker. Also part of the 1997 panel was Nelly Salvi, who owns and runs Vino Fino, a wine events company specializing in the great vineyards of France, Spain, Italy and South Africa. She's a regular jury member of wine competitions in Europe and America, an active member of the British Circle of Wine Writers and the International Federation of Wine and Spirits Writers and Journalists. Ronnie Lau is chairman of the Hong Kong Wine and Spirits Writers Association and also chairs the Shanghai International Wine Challenge. He writes on wine and spirits for publications in Hong Kong, mainland China and Malaysia, and has authored 6 books on wine. In 2012, he released the first ever Tuscan wine in Italy, made by a Chinese winemaker. Andre works as winemaker, oenologist, viticulturist and wine marketer in his family's wine business, Vino Ondremiška. He judges in several international competitions in Europe, including Mundus Vini, Concours Mondial de Bruxelles and Grand Prix Vinex. Mike is a founding member and owner of Wine Concepts CC in Newlands, Cape Town. With more than 35 years' experience in the liquor and catering trade, Mike is recognized as one of the top wine list consultants in South Africa and was recently inducted into the prestigious l'Ordre des Coteaux de Champagne of France. Maria Katsuli lives and works in Athens as sommelier, journalist and wine educator, as well as being a certified olive oil taster. She regularly judges in international wine and extracts competitions, both in Greece and abroad, and introduced the profession of sommelier to Greece. Christina is a well-respected spirits expert in Europe. She owns and runs a spirits shop in Berlin, where she trades in over 700 different spirits, including rum, whiskey, cognac, Armagnac, gin, cachaça and pisco. Thomas is a writer and editor for several Danish wine and spirits publications. He is a regular judge in international wine competitions and is part of the jury of the Concours Grenache du Monde and judges in the Best Riesling competition in Neustadt. He's currently working to complete his Master of Wine dissertation. Andy is a Cape wine master and a winemaker in Stellenbosch. His Cape Wine Master Thesis topic on phenolic ripeness has made him a leading expert in this field and puts him in high demand during the harvest season, when he carries out phenolic ripeness analysis for wine producers in the Cape. Adrian worked as the European MD for the Spear Wine Group in Stellenbosch until 2003. He currently consults on over 1,000 UK restaurant wine lists and works as advisor for several European importers and wineries. He holds a WSET diploma and is a regular judge at the IWC and Decanter wine shows in the UK. New to the Michelangelo panel this year is Tinashe Nyamudoka, head sommelier at the Test Kitchen in Cape Town. Tinashe hails from Zimbabwe and sits on the panel of the Wine of the Month Club, as well as on the Wells Faber Weekly Sommelier Blind Tasting. Hailing from Brazil, Eduardo has judged on the panels of all major wine competitions worldwide during the past 15 years and has been the editor of the Vinho magazine since 1999. He's written 16 books for the collection The World of Wine, and is also the author of several annual Brazilian wine guides. Cho works as author and wine journalist in Seoul, where he also lectures on wine at the University of Korea. His company, the Curious Wine Company in Korea, imports and distributes wines throughout Asia. Cho has written a number of books on wine and regularly judges at international wine competitions, including Mundus Vini, the Singapore Wine Challenge and Vinitaly. Johannesburg-based Carrie has worked in the wine industry in the UK and South Africa since 1987. She's a director of Norman Goodfellow's Fine Wines and a Classic FM radio host. In addition, Carrie is a member of the Commanderie de Bordeaux, the Ordre des Coteaux de Champagne, and the first female keeper of the Quatch in Africa for William Grant and Sons. Founder of the Cape Wine Academy and the Cape Wine and Spirit Education Trust, Dave is an honorary Cape Wine Master and a brandy distiller. He's written a number of books on wine and spirits and is a regular judge on many competition panels, locally and abroad, as well as a consultant to the SAA, the Nederburg Annual Wine Auction, and the IWSC in London. Roberto lives in Rome and holds a degree in law. He graduated as Master Wine Sommelier from the Italian Sommelier Association of Rome, is a rum and grappa expert, and regularly conducts seminars on Italian wine in collaboration with a consortium of Prosecco DOC Treviso in Italy, Belgrade and Porto Montenegro. Colin is one of 3 of South Africa's honorary Cape Wine Masters and started his career as a wine merchant in the United Kingdom. Returning to South Africa after 18 years, Colin worked as wine buyer with SFW for many years. Today, he runs a wine production company in the Western Cape and regularly judges for the IWSC and Veritas. As OIV Commissioner and Chairman of European Wine Competitions, Marin adjudicates and oversees judging panels at wine competitions around the world. He holds the position of Professor in Chemical and Biochemical Engineering at the University of Ljubljana. Lubos is a recognized international wine judge, wine writer and wine critic, and lectures at the Prague Culinary Institute. He is editor-in-chief of the Czech Sommelier magazine and frequently judges at wine competitions, including Finger Lakes in the USA and Concours Mondial de Bruxelles in Belgium. He holds one of only 5 titles as benchmark taster for Vinopress in Belgium. Germain grew up in Normandy, where his father was a Calvados producer. He started his career as sommelier at the world-renowned Tour d'Argent restaurant in Paris. An internationally accredited sommelier, Germain was appointed head sommelier at the Orient Hotel restaurant Mosaic near Johannesburg. In 2007, he was named a finalist in the Best Sommelier of the World competition. Liz is a champagne and sparkling wine expert and judges these products around the world. Her book, entitled An Ultimate Guide to Champagne, has recently been published, while 2 other champagne-related books are also in the pipeline, namely The Most Powerful Women in Champagne and The Champagne Cookbook. Subhash is a respected judge at wine competitions worldwide, including the WSA Wine Challenge in Amsterdam and Singapore, Decanter Asia, and the IWSC Hong Kong. He's editor of an online wine newspaper, Del Wine, with more than 300,000 subscribers. Winnie is a Cape Wine Master, as well as a qualified physiotherapist and biomedical scientist. She's a member of the Wine of the Month Club's selection panel, where her areas of expertise include Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, Shiraz, and Brandy. This year, Winnie was a member of the Michelangelo Brandy and Spirits panel. Jean works as wine journalist and broadcaster in Dublin. She holds a WSET diploma and regularly judges at wine competitions such as the IWSC, Concours Mondial de Bruxelles, and Michelangelo. As international consultant, her clients include the Italian Trade Commission, wines of Argentina and Chile, wines of South Africa, and Vini Portugal. Franjo is a certified international wine judge with more than 3 decades of experience. He's chairman of the Croatian Oenologist Society and a member of the International Union of Oenologists. Franjo is also the founder of the Croatian Wine Academy in Zagreb. Gregory hails from Zimbabwe. He's head sommelier at the 12 Apostles Hotel in Cape Town, and his judging experience includes work for SAA, the Nederburg Auction, the SA Shannon Association, and the Platter Wine Guide. He also presents wine tastings and food pairings at the Good Food and Wine shows as part of the Michelangelo Pavilion. Chris is an oenologist, wine lecturer and wine writer, and has been an official taster for the Concours Mondial de Bruxelles since 2008 in Loire and Bordeaux. He specializes in organic and biodynamic wines and sits on the jury for the selection and import of organic wines in the Netherlands. Christina is an agricultural engineer, wine consultant and vice president of the Oenology Commission of Argentina. She's been a juror in most major international wine competitions for the past 30 years. And as wine consultant, regularly writes and presents technical papers on various topics in the wine industry.